Welcome to Behind the Masterpiece. I am your host, Brian Hersh. I happen to be the CEO for the Arts and Cultural Alliance of Sarasota County, and you can catch Behind the Masterpiece with us at visitsarasota.com. And we have incredibly talented folks with us today from Rise Above Performing Arts. We have founder and director Jacob Ruscoe, and we have performer Tayla Wright. Jacob and Tayla, welcome to Behind the Masterpiece. Let's get into this. We're really excited. So first of all, Jacob, tell us what's Rise Above? Why did you decide to build this institution?
So Rise Above is a community theater here in Sarasota, but it is based primarily with young people doing the performances from middle school all the way through college. Several years ago, back in 2016, we saw that there were all these talented young people here in our area. And when they would go and audition for a show, they would all audition for the same 1 to 2 parts. So we kind of had the idea, why not create a company that allowed young people to fully produce the shows? But we didn't want to water anything down. So we only do the full Broadway style productions of every show that we do. So, 2.5 hour shows, and just with incredible talent. And so by doing that, it allows young people to have lots of opportunities and to really operate at a very high level.
Awesome. No, this sounds great. People can check you out by going to riseabovearts.com, by the way. Tayla, so you're a young person, you're a student, you're in school. Tell us a little bit about Rise Above and how it differs from what theater you might have offered in school to what brings you to something like Rise Above.
Well, I first started Rise Above in 6th grade, and I had done theater for, I think 3 years before that in elementary school. I guess just the difference between school productions and Rise Above. Rise Above is so closely knit together. Everybody knows everybody, and everybody is so nice to everybody. And at school, obviously, you kind of have that sort of thing, but it's not like you know every single person. Where at Rise Above, everyone is a family. I'm pretty sure everyone knows everyone. So at school, also productions are usually junior shows and stuff. Whereas like Jacob said, at Rise Above, we do full scale productions. So it really helps us learn a lot in those areas.
Very cool. Jacob, anything you want to add to what's different about Rise Above to the theater that's offered in schools? I know you're very familiar with schools here too.
Yeah, absolutely. And our schools always do fantastic, productions. We just obviously have the ability to go more in depth with what we do. I mean, these performers practice 4 to 6 days a week for 3 to 4 hours at a time, 30 to 40 rehearsals. So they have a very extensive process. They get extensive training in choreography, music, acting, just at a very high level. And so when they do a production, my expectation of them, which they always meet, is, the production would rival anything that you would see at a community theater here in Sarasota, because that's the level that these kids have the talent to do. So why not have them do it?
Amazing. Thanks, Jacob. So Tayla, talk to us a little bit about the process. From auditions to rehearsals to performances. You're just wrapping Diary of Anne Frank. There's another production coming up in a little bit this season, but talk us through what's it like to audition, how is the rehearsal process, and then what do you get to do and what's exciting about the performances?
The audition process is it's probably the least stressful part in my opinion.
Great.
You just mostly go in with a little bit of a song and a monologue, and then after that, a callback list comes out, and then you have to learn a piece of the show for the part that you got called back for. And then you go do that, and then the cast list comes out, and that's that. Once the rehearsal process starts, for Anne Frank, we rehearsed the show for, I think, about 4 weeks, which is shorter than usual, because we usually have, I'd say, 6 weeks maybe? Not sure, but it's usually longer. But we just kind of learn all this stuff. For musical, we learn choreography and singing and dance. I already said choreography, and all the acting stuff and all those parts. And I usually get really close with everyone in that cast, whatever show we're doing. For this play, Anne Frank, it's been really different, but not in a bad way. It's been really cool because the cast is so small, so all of us are super close, and the rehearsal process has been really interesting because we've had to learn a lot in these past 4 weeks, and it's very different because there's no singing. there's no dancing. It's just being the character and saying those lines and learning them, which is a part we have to do at home. But like then once we're done with that, we get into show week, and we had opening Thursday, and then the shows went awesome, in my opinion. I think they went great. And we have another show coming up this Thursday. So that's the understudy performance. So we're currently rehearsing for that. And then after that, we just finish out the rest of the runs. I think they're going to go great. I'm very excited.
Very cool. So Jacob, can you tell us, like, how do you help prepare and coach students? Because like auditions can be really difficult. Love that Tayla's like, that was the easiest part. Fabulous.
She's like the only one that thinks that. It's normally like a pretty stressful part for people. I know. But for anybody who wants to, I mean, we definitely, especially like when we know them, like a lot of times, when we have a production coming up, we always have new people. So we have people who we don't know. But for the people who we do know, our music directors will help them with a music selection. I can help them with a monologue. And then two, those who want will actually help work their audition pieces with them prior to the audition, just so that they have a comfort level about that, as well. So that part goes really well. And then just to kind of piggyback on what, Tayla was saying, we really expect a lot out of our performers for, this current production that we're in. We gave them their scripts in December, and the expectation was that they came to the first rehearsal completely off script because we knew we had a limited amount of time to do the show. And Tayla has like around 300 lines in the show, and she came in completely off script. But what it allows them to do is for us to get really in depth with the character, for them to be able to relate to the character, the other characters on stage. Because once you have that script out of your hand, you can truly become the character rather than just reading lines. So that was really an important part for us in this process.
Yeah, no, this is great. And Jacob, it sounds like, Rise Above does a lot with musical theater. So this is maybe a little different that you've just wrapped something that's in drama too. Tell me about how you, as this founder and artistic director, how do you choose the season to an extent? How do you sort of select? Because some of the students who come in and audition from you, but there's on-ramps, right? So you're always welcoming people. So how do you choose this season? And Jacob, you start with that. And then Tayla, when Jacob answers, I'd love to hear like how you might try to lobby or influence the creative team for selecting things as well.
Absolutely. So I will leave that part to her for sure. But basically, coming up here very shortly, we actually have our season 10 announcement party. We're getting set to go into our 10th season where we're going to announce our shows. And so our team gets together, our music directors, choreographers, we all get together and we basically talk about, hey, what shows do we want for the upcoming season? One of the things that we always focus on is what do people want to see? This year, we put in Grease, we put in The Wizard of Oz, we put in Beauty and the Beast, because we know that those are big draws for our community. Those are shows that people want to see if people are coming from out of town. And they're like, hey, what's playing? Grease is playing. Oh my gosh, I really want to go see Grease. So that is definitely a big factor in that. Obviously, too, we always try and pick shows that we feel our young people can do and do well. The Diary of Anne Frank, a small exception to us. We generally do stay away from shows that have a ton of characters who would be adults. We normally steer to like teenagers or young adults, or maybe a show that has like a couple adult characters. Anne Frank is really an exception for us for that, in which 8 of them are adults, but they've done exceptionally well with it. Simply because it's difficult to play that kind of a role, and we really want to create a realism in what we do. So we definitely take that into account as well. And just to like popularity, like we want our performers to audition for the shows. So they are always buzzing about things that are like important to them. But obviously we've got to sell tickets. And so we definitely want to pick shows that people are going to want to come watch.
Love that. So Tayla, how do you get to lobby and influence what shows you want Jacob and the creative team to maybe select for next season, as we're about to announce that 10th season?
Well, every season, Jacob sends out a survey to everyone, so we can basically put in 3 shows that we want to do next season. They usually try to put in one of the top voted shows. So that's a pretty fun way to like kind of influence those. Like we can all get with our friends and be like, okay, what 3 shows do we want to see next season? And then we all vote that one. So I'm really excited to see what shows we have planned, because I feel like it's going to be a good one this season.
No doubt. Celebrating 10 years. Amazing. All right. So both of you, and Jacob, you get to start with this, but Tell us why. So this is obviously for our friends that visit Sarasota County. People come to Sarasota County all the time, Florida's cultural coast, to experience arts and culture. There's a lot for people to choose from, including many professional theater organizations. You've mentioned how Rise Above has its roots and origins in sort of community theater. This is community theater specifically for and with youth. So if I don't have a kid who's in this production, or I'm not related to anybody, or I'm a visitor, why am I coming to Rise Above? Make your case, Jacob.
Hey, that is easy. Well, first of all, we are so blessed in Sarasota to just have so many great theater opportunities. I actually went with Tayla last week to the Van Wezel to see Come From Away. So just lots of great things. But, like I said earlier, like I will put our productions up against any community theater show that you will see. The beauty of Rise Above is we have really built ourselves to being a staple in this community. Actually, just over 20% of the people who come to our shows are family members or friends of family. And the other 70+% are from the community or are from visitors out of town. In fact, 75% of our season ticket holders don't have a kid in Rise Above or any affiliation with Rise Above, other than they just have come to see our shows. They love our shows and they want to be a part of it. So I think if you want to see theater done at an excellent high level, then that's what you want to do. Very, very, when we market ourselves, we don't even, to the community, we don't even like, hey, come see this youth production, because we know the perception. But anytime anybody comes in and they're like, oh, hey, is this young people? And if there's ever a question, I'm like, listen, you watch the show. If you're not 100% satisfied, I'll give you your money back. 9 years of doing this, nobody has ever asked for their money back, because what they see is like, wow, that was amazing. We've had people who come in and they're like, I didn't know you existed. And then they buy season tickets when they see what we're doing. So I'm just telling you, if you want a good time and you want to be impressed by high quality performers, then Rise Above is where you want to go.
Awesome. Tayla, anything you want to add to that, of getting anyone outside of your friends and family to come check you out as you perform?
I guess the best part about seeing new people come to the theater that we don't know to come see shows is like what they say to people after the show. Like they'll come to me and be like, oh my gosh, that was amazing. And like, you did incredible. And it's a really great feeling to know that people I do not know are coming up to me and saying these awesome things, and they like the shows.
Kudos. Congrats. And Jacob, great work. It sounds like a really nice differentiator for Rise Above is also selecting the shows that really, I think what I'm hearing you capture is things that you couldn't do outside when you need youthful performers to do these. And I think seeing the shows that are going to capture that is a great way to really attract people to the theater. So with that, Tayla, let's talk about how something like Rise Above really helps you, whether you want to be a musical theater performer for your full-time profession later, or just how does Rise Above help you in school now, because you have to go to school, and how does it help you in life in general?
Well, the main way I'd say Rise Above helps me, I am looking to do theater as a career. When I'm older, I want to be a New York performer on Broadway. And I think Rise Above is really helping me aspire to do that because we have so many great coaches, like our vocal coaches and like acting coaches, and I'm learning so many things that I know I wouldn't learn anywhere else, because, I mean, not a lot of places can operate to this level, like youth organizations, that kind of things. So Rise Above helps me with that. I'm trying to get to where I want to be in life. And they also just help me with talking to other people. I mean, there's people I've met through Rise Above that I never would have met if it weren't for this organization. There's like homeschooled people that don't go to my school, and like other people who are way older than me but are like still super nice people. And like I'm meeting all these new people. It's really awesome. Rise Above has just done so many things for me, and I'm very appreciative of it.
Awesome. Jacob, anything you want to add of how Rise Above really helps advance students to really thrive and succeed in life and in school?
Yeah, I think one thing which really just goes to the mission of who we are, which I don't think we mentioned earlier. We are a 501c3, but our mission is for young people to do this and to do this well. And so we don't charge them anything. We don't charge anything to be a part of the productions. When we give acting lessons or things like that, we don't charge them for that either. We just want them to get better, and we never want money to be an obstacle to them, doing what they love. I think obviously the social aspect, the camaraderie that they have, it builds self-esteem, but also like Tayla was saying, like I've seen her go from somebody who would never be on this podcast to being able to talk and, talk very eloquently. I think the public speaking, be able to talk to adults and have those communication skills is all just ridiculously important. And I know it wasn't part of the question, Brian, but I will just chime into one other thing that Tayla said. For anybody who's listening to this or watching to this, just like take a screenshot, remember it, because I'm telling you, you will see this girl on Broadway someday. Her talent and her dedication is unmatched like anything I've ever seen in 30 years of doing theater.
Wow, that's quite an endorsement. Way to go, Tayla. Very cool. Love going to New York. Lived in New York, worked in New York. It's a great place. So I'm a music major. Keep going. Don't let anyone discourage you. It's a great pathway, and there was Broadway performers I talked to that would say if a door closes, a window opens. So just know there's always an open window. As I think Jacob's saying, for you and for anyone listening who wants to pursue performing arts, there's a place for you. So awesome. Thank you. So let's close with this. Tayla, you get to sort of start, and then Jacob finish. But so you've just wrapped Diary of Anne Frank. What's next? What's coming up?
Well, we have auditions for Wizard of Oz, which is, I think, going to be just super fun. It's definitely going to be a bigger cast than Anne Frank, but that just means more people to get close with and all those things. So I think it's going to be really fun, and I'm super excited for auditions coming up.
Jacob, so what's happening with Wizard of Oz?
Yeah, so Wizard of Oz opens May 7th. So for those of you planning on visiting Sarasota, we run May 7th through May 17th. So we'd love to see you. I mean, classic, timeless tale. We are doing the Royal Shakespeare version of it, which is the one that emulates the movie. So if you like the movie Wizard of Oz, then you will definitely like the musical, because that is what you're going to see. And just a very family-friendly show as well. So, if you're traveling with children, you can come see it. If you have grandchildren, bring them to it. Or if you just want to come for a great night out, it is definitely the place to be. It is going to be a fantastic show. Top of the line costumes, incredible set. You do not want to miss it.
Love it. You do not want to miss it. Go to riseabovearts.com to get tickets to Wizard of Oz opening in May 7th, and to just learn more about Rise Above and to support that institution that is supporting so many of our youth, making theater accessible for them, but all of us here in Sarasota, and adding to this remarkable tapestry of arts and culture on Florida's cultural coast. Jacob and Tayla, thanks so much for being on Behind the Masterpiece.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. I'm your host, Brian Hersh, for Behind the Masterpiece. You can catch it at visitsarasota.com. Until next time, peace. Thanks for listening to this episode of Behind the Masterpiece, brought to you by Visit Sarasota County. For more and to hear this podcast, go to visitsarasota.com.